Good morning and welcome back to another edition of After Class. This morning, I had another question recently from one of our young students. In fact, instead of me just asking the question, since Ethan is here, I'll ask Ethan, why don't you come forward, Ethan? What was your question?
Father, why do you break the host in two during Mass?
Why do I break the host in two during the Mass? You know what? What if you go grab the chalice over there for me, and then I'll try to show you why we do that so that you might have a greater understanding. It's a very important question, and as with all the questions of the Mass, they have to do something with who?
Jesus.
With Jesus, okay. So first I'm going to take off the chalice veil, and since we're not going to be consecrating this host, I'm just going to take out a simple white host, okay? So the question was, is during the Mass, oh, you know what? Why don't I tell you what this is? Do you ever wonder what this thing is? Why the priest opens up this little cloth? This is called the corporal. And the priest opens it so that during the Mass, during the breaking of bread, okay, so when you ask the question, why does the priest break that? When he breaks it, it's after it's already been consecrated. So the bread and wine at that point have been consecrated. It has become Jesus' precious body and blood. And this cloth here, this corporal, is that so during the breaking of bread, if some particles should break off, where are they going to go? They'll land right on this corporal, and just think all the priests, they always fold it up the exact same way every time. So that nothing would ever, from not even a small particle of Jesus' precious body, might go someplace, okay? So, during the breaking of bread, the priest takes the host, he breaks it in two, and then you'll notice he takes a little piece of the host and then plunges it into the chalice, into the precious blood. So the first question you ask, why breaking it? What does that represent? It reminds us of what took place on Calvary on Good Friday when Jesus died on the cross. The breaking of his body. It symbolizes his death on the cross. The plunging of that little particle of Jesus' body with the precious blood in the chalice is a coming back together of his body and blood, and it reminds us of the resurrection, right? Because when Jesus died on the cross, was that the end? Did they bury him in the tomb and he was just dead forever? No. He rose from the dead. So it reminds us that Jesus died and he rose from the dead. And then what does the priest do? He genuflects, doesn't he? And then his rising up reminds us again too of Jesus' rising from the dead. Because Jesus' life did not end in death. And so too it reminds us in our own lives. It's so hopeful, because we all will die. But it reminds us, but we will live forever with the Lord. Then the priest, and I love this part of the Mass. This is one, I'll tell you right now, this is one of my favorite parts of the Mass. The priest then takes the host, and he holds it up, and he says, "Behold the Lamb of God. Behold him who takes away the sins of the world. Blessed are those called to the supper of the Lamb." And then the people respond, "Lord, I am not worthy that you should enter under my roof, but only say the word, and my soul shall be healed." So just think about that beautiful prayer. We all say that. And when we do, we're reminding of when that was said in the gospel. Do you remember who said it? It was a beautiful scene. There was a soldier, and he came to Jesus and he said, "My servant is at home, sick and dying. Would you come to my home?" No, he says, "Would you heal my servant?" And Jesus then said, "Oh, I'll come to your home." And what did the centurion say? The Roman centurion said, "Oh Lord, I am not worthy that you should enter under my roof, but only say the word, and my servant shall be healed." And then he goes on, he says, "Lord, I'm a man of authority. When I told my soldiers to go, they go. When I tell them to come, they come. They do what I tell them to do. And just think how much more power that you have. And so I know that if you just say by your word that your servant is healed, I know that my servant will be healed. You don't even have to go there and see my servant." And then what did Jesus say to that Roman centurion? He said something very beautiful. Because Jesus was so impressed at his faith, he said, "Greater faith in Israel I have not seen." because he believed so much. And that's the words he said. Lord, I'm not worthy you should enter under my roof, but only say the word and my servant shall be healed. So during Mass, during that part of the Mass, we're looking up at the broken host. And we're saying, Lord, I am not worthy that you should come under my roof, but only say the word and my soul shall be healed. And so it reminds us that every Mass, there's a healing that takes place in our souls. That each of us, there's things that happen to us during the day that take away our peace and our joy. I just think of all the students who were so sad that they weren't in school during the COVID days, right? That was very difficult. And just think when we come to Mass, we bring that, we give that to Jesus. And we say, Lord, I'm not worthy that you should enter into my roof, but only say the word and my soul shall be healed. And it's good to think about what in my life needs to be healed. Sometimes I need special virtues right now, patience, and so forth. Okay? So, thank you for that very awesome question. And I hope to get some more questions soon in the future. Thank you all, and God bless you.